Hi everyone, this is Tom with the LEC preview of this week. We're already heading into week 6 of the LEC Summer Split. So let's go over the matches, see if there's anything interesting that's going on, and do some predictions as well. The week starts off with SK Gaming versus XL Esports. And XL Esports just went 0-2 last weekend. They did have a rough schedule. They played against Mad Lions and they played against Rogue. So pretty tough opponents. Both are leading in the standings. SK Gaming, on the other hand, went 2-0, and they defeated Vitality as well as Schalke 04, which are not the most difficult opponents to deal with. So one team, SK Gaming, with a softer schedule, and XL definitely with a harder schedule to open the week. And now that they face off, I still think that SK Gaming will win it. I think so far this team is playing incredibly well together. They are very much in sync, and though I think individually only Crownshot is really a star on the team at the moment. That's all you need, right? You need one player who can carry the team and the rest to not hold the team back. And I think that's definitely what SK Gaming is doing so far. XL, on the other hand, they have Patrick, who's a good player. And I think that they're just failing to step up as a whole. Special in the mid lane has had a difficult weekend last weekend. I think just on purely individual skill, SK Gaming will win this series. Then there's Vitality vs Origin. Now this is obviously the revenge match for Jack Troll, the support player now of Origin, but who was benched on Vitality. And Origin had a very strong weekend last weekend. They beat both G2 and Misfits in pretty convincing fashion. Some of that obviously has to be attributed to Jack Troll. And Vitality had a rough weekend last weekend, losing to SK Gaming and Fnatic in a match they shouldn't have lost, at least against Fnatic. I think they definitely stood a chance there. Also, a pretty simple prediction for me, at least. I think Origin is going to win this. They are playing much more coherently and playing up to their standards. At least last weekend they did so. They obviously still have some things to iron out, but I think they will easily win this. Then there's G2 versus Schalke 04. In the spring split, this was where it went wrong for G2 against Schalke 04. And they are looking shakier now, but I think Schalke 04 is looking even worse. You have a team that is just not stepping up at all. It sometimes looks maybe promising, as in the early game of Schalke 04. It generally is at least okay. They go toe-to-toe with many opponents they face. But then in the late game, as the teams start roaming, Schalke doesn't know what to do when it crumbles. G2, another 0-2 weekend last week. It's pretty sad, the state of affairs G2 is in. They did only have 2 practicing days though last weekend, and I expected this week they had more days of practice, so I expect them to beat Schalke 04 with relative ease. Then there's Misfits versus Rogue. Rogue top of the standings, 9-2 obviously, and Misfits had a disappointing loss again against Fnatic last weekend, and a loss against Origin. So they went 0-2, Origin 2-0, Rogue went 2-0, and I think again Rogue is playing maybe not as explosively and as excited. They're not as exciting to watch as Mad Lions, but when you look at their map movement overall, they're playing incredibly well together. Focusing on Larsen getting farm and then him doing well. Obviously, he has a very good meta for himself with the Orianna being good, Azir being good, and Corki being good, which are all champions that he is personally pretty good at. And it's just difficult to if you're going to commit all your 3 bans to him, then you leave so much more open for Rogue to pick that other players can perform well on. So I expect Rogue to win this, long story short. Fnatic versus Mad Lions closes out today. Is the 5th match of that play day. And Fnatic did go 2-0 last weekend as well as Mad Lions, but as I said in my recap video of week 5, which I'll link here above, you'll have to say that by looking at these matches, Fnatic is not in shape at all. They were handed these games to them by opponents that were literally running it down. They should in no way have won these matches. Well, the Vitality match was closer than the Misfits one, I suppose, but still, Fnatic is not in shape. Mad Lions, on the other hand, relentless. They dealt with G2 in incredibly dominant fashion, and I expect them to do the same with Fnatic. On the second day, we started off with Vitality versus Excel. Bottom dweller matchup still, even though theoretically these teams are still in contention for a playoff spot. Everything is wide open in the LEC. Yeah, these are two teams that have very much let me down in the summer split so far. And I think when you look at the teams itself, you look at Vitality, who did decently against Fnatic and against SK Gaming, and you look at Excel, who were stomped in the early game. They did well against Mad Lions, but later on Mad Lions turned on and beat Excel easily. And against Rogue, I'm just not very impressed by either of these teams so far. In a matchup that goes between them, I think Excel has a downside that their mid laner is not very strong. Vitality has a downside that their jungle has much, leaves much to be desired. I think I'll give it to Excel though. In the end, they did have an upward trend in the first half of the summer split, and I think that's something they can accelerate again. Whereas Vitality is just continuing on a slow downward trend. The second match is between Misfits and Schalke 04. Yeah, I really feel bad for Schalke 04 that I continue to have to do this, but I'm just not going to spend too much time discussing this. They are by far the worst team in the league. Misfits did have a good showing against Fnatic for a long time, and I expect them to win against Schalke 04 without breaking much of a sweat. Mad Lions versus SK Gaming follows that match. It's the third match of the day. Pretty interesting because SK Gaming is now in the top half of the league and Mad Lions are 9-2, the leading team. So this is a close match theoretically, though I think ultimately, as I said earlier when I talked about Mad Lions versus Fnatic, that Mad Lions just has players that can all step up and SK Gaming has mostly crown shot. So that's just purely on individual skill. I will predict Mad Lions to win this one. Then there's Fnatic versus Origin as the second to last match of week 6. Interesting matchup, obviously big legacy matchup given the strength that these teams had previously. Now this is more of a mid-tier battle, and that's kind of weird to say still. And the Origin is playing well. Fnatic is not playing well at all. Especially in the top lane, I think Fnatic Bwipo is not showing up. And Alfari, as he did last week, just stopped everyone. I think he will lead Origin as well against Fnatic. It's just incredible to see how good this player is. By far, as I've said before as well, and as many people are saying, I think he's undisputably the best top laner in the West, and is definitely in a top spot for globally as a top laner. So yeah, I think if Fnatic wants to win this, they are either gonna have to harass Alfari so he doesn't have the ability to carry this game, or maybe Upset and Jack Troll can step up massively. The other way around, can be held in their lane, and Reckless and Hylissang can step up to punish Origin in a way. But I think that Hylissang and Reckless are far less in sync than Upset and Jack Troll. It's difficult to say, obviously, because Origin has only played 2 matches with this composition. But yeah, so I would say that if Fnatic wants to win this, they're just gonna have to harass Alfari constantly. Maybe Nemesis and Selfmade can help out Bwipo to curb Alfari's power. Then to give a prediction, I think Origin will win this. Then to round it up, it's gonna be G2 versus Rogue. Match of the week for very obvious reasons. Rogue at top of the standings. Many people are leaving out Rogue when they discuss the top teams and mostly focusing on Mad. Many coaches think that it's mostly meta dependent. May very well be so, but here we are. Rogue is a top team in this meta, and that's how they should be regarded and respected. G2, former top team, and yeah, man, this is so difficult to say because I think what Rogue does very well is focus all their energy and all their resources on Larsen and allow him to run away with the game. But then you still have a very good bot lane that can also step up, and G2 is just wandering around like a headless chicken, often not knowing how to allocate their resources, how to approach the matches. It's still G2 individually. I would say that Larsen has a very difficult time. He would against Caps in a straight 1v1. You know, like Caps has such a high ceiling when it comes to skill, and I think Larsen is growing, and we haven't even seen his ceiling yet. And it's the same in the jungle. Like Jankos is, if he performs well, like on his usual level, he is the best jungler in the LEC, and Wunder is a top tier top laner if he performs well, and Finn isn't there yet. So the ceiling of G2 is so incredibly high, as we've seen before in the past, that it's so difficult to just disregard them and say that Rogue is easily gonna win this. But I'm gonna say that Rogue wins this match. It's just the state of G2 that pushes me over the edge. That Rogue plays coherently, plays in sync with each other. They have that synergy that a team needs to perform on this stage, and G2 isn't there. I hope to be surprised, and that G2 is showing up, and that they have found their groove again, and that they are now finally stepping up to their legacy and their performances of previous seasons. But no, I'm gonna give it to Rogue, and we'll see how that turns out, because it's the match I'm by far most excited for. That is it for the LEC preview of this week. Let me know in the comments which matches you are looking forward to, and also give me your predictions and tell me why I'm wrong about some of mine. I always love to enter a discussion about that. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content.